Ever notice how a day at the range used to energize you, but now it sometimes leaves you reaching for the ibuprofen? You're seeing the target clearly, your lead looks good, yet you're missing shots you used to crush. And worse, you're feeling it in your neck and shoulder the next morning. Here's the truth. It's likely not your eyes, and it's definitely not that you've lost your touch. It's that the mechanics you learned 30 years ago were designed for a different body. While others might tell you to just buy a lighter load or a heavier vest, that's just a band-aid. The real fix happens before the trigger is ever pulled. Today, we are re-engineering the shotgun mount for the shooter over 55. We're going to turn recoil from a punishment into a manageable impulse so you can shoot clean, break clays, and do it without paying the physical price. Welcome back to Barrel Boost. Today isn't just about breaking more targets, though that will happen. It's about longevity in the sport. Here's what most shooters don't realize. As we age, our center of gravity shifts, our cervical mobility in the neck decreases, and our muscle elasticity changes. If you are still mounting the gun exactly the way you did when you were 25, you are fighting your own biology. We're going to cover 3 critical things today. First, finding the new pocket, because where that stock lands matters more now than ever. Second, the skeletal stack stance to absorb energy without ruining your back. And third, the mental game of flinch management. When you anticipate pain, your brain sabotages your shot before you even move. We're going to rewire that. Section 1. The anatomy of the aging shot. To fix the problem, we have to understand the mechanics. When we're younger, we have more muscle mass covering the shoulder pocket and the collarbone. We also have higher elasticity in our connective tissues. We could get away with a sloppy mount because our bodies absorb the shock like a sponge. But past 55, that padding thins out. The sponge becomes more rigid. So, if that stock creates a point impact on your collarbone or out on the shoulder joint, it's not just uncomfortable, it sends a shock wave right up the neck. This triggers a parasympathetic response. Your brain learns that trigger pull equals pain, and the moment your brain believes that, it introduces a flinch. You might not even feel it, but you'll stop your swing or lift your head milliseconds before the shot to escape the recoil. Here's the good news. We can bypass this biology by changing the physics of the mount. We need to move from absorbing recoil to directing it. Section 2. Finding the new pocket. Let's talk about the mount. The biggest mistake I see in shooters over 55 is mounting the gun too low or too far out on the arm. This happens because neck flexibility decreases. So, to get your cheek on the stock, it feels easier to lower the gun than to lower your head. Do not do this. When the stock is low, the recoil creates muzzle jump, slapping your cheekbone. That creates a flinch. You need to bring the stock higher and closer to the midline of your body. It should sit fully in the pocket created between your pectoral muscle and your shoulder joint, not on the joint itself. Here's a trick top shooters use: the pre-mount shrug. Before you call for the bird, roll your shooting shoulders slightly forward and up. This engages the pectoral muscle and creates a natural fleshy pad for the buttstock to rest against. It protects the bones. The magic part? This higher mount brings the gun up to your eye line, meaning you don't have to crane your neck down. You keep your head up, your vision sharp, and the gun comes to you. Section 3. The skeletal stack. Stance. Next is posture. You've probably been taught the nose over toes, aggressive forward lean. That works great for a linebacker, but for us, sustaining that tension for 100 rounds is exhausting for the lower back. We want to move to a skeletal stack. Instead of leaning way forward at the waist, I want you to unlock your knees. Keep your hips square to the break zone, but rotate your upper body. Think of your front leg as a pillar. You want to shift about 60% of your weight onto that front leg, but keep your spine relatively neutral. By keeping the spine neutral and the knees soft, the recoil energy travels down your skeletal structure and dissipates into the ground. You aren't using your lower back muscles to fight the gun. You are using your bone structure to support it. This reduces fatigue, and when fatigue goes down, consistency goes up. That consistency is what turns pressure into performance. Section 4. The push-pull dynamic. Now, let's look at the hands. A common reaction to recoil sensitivity is the death grip. You squeeze the wood so hard, your knuckles turn white. Here's what most shooters don't realize. Tension destroys fluidity. If your hands are tight, your swing is jerky. Instead of squeezing, apply dynamic tension, or the push-pull method. With your front hand, apply roughly 5 pounds of pressure forward toward the target. With your trigger hand, apply 5 pounds of pressure backward, pulling the stock into your shoulder pocket. This locks the gun into your body before the shot. When the gun goes off, it doesn't get a running start to slam into you. It moves with you. You and the gun become one mass. It's subtle. You shouldn't be shaking. Just a firm, clear mental command to your hands. Push and pull. This stabilizes the muzzle and virtually eliminates the feeling of the kick. Section 5. Equipment checks for the over 55 shooter. Briefly, let's talk hardware. Sometimes the gun actually is the problem. As we age and we lose that flexibility in the shoulder and chest, our reach effectively shortens. If your stock is too long, length of pull, you will instinctively mount it out on your arm muscle or shoulder joint, which hurts. Check your length of pull. You might need to shorten your stock by 1/4 or 1/2 inch compared to what you shot 10 years ago. It sounds small, but it allows you to square up and get that stock back into the protected pocket we talked about. And if you haven't looked into a modern recoil pad, something soft and absorbent rather than hard rubber, make that change today. That is the cheapest insurance for your shoulder you will ever buy. Conclusion. Here's the bottom line. Shooting past 55 isn't about declining skill. It's about smarter mechanics. When you mount the gun high in the pocket, stack your skeleton to absorb the energy, and use dynamic tension, you stop fighting the gun. You clear the mental distraction of pain. And when the pain is gone, the focus returns. Your brain stops protecting you from the recoil and starts attacking the target again. Now I want to hear from you. Have you had to change your setup or your mount as you've gotten older? Drop your adjustments or tips in the comments below. We learn fastest when we learn together, and your strategy might help another shooter stay in the game longer. And if you want more barrel boost breakdowns that sharpen both skill and mindset, make sure you're subscribed, hit the like button, and turn on notifications so you never miss a performance upgrade. See you on the range.